Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. I'm once again here with my commander, Cobra Commander, and this time I'm heading out to a resource extraction site. I want to get myself involved in a bit of combat and try and make as much money as I possibly can. Now this Sidewinder is pretty much fully upgraded. There's a few more upgrades I could probably do to it, including putting some high spec engines on it from the engineers, but I'll probably skip that and go straight towards getting a Cobra Mark III and then starting to outfit that. Now, as I've mentioned before, this is a completely fresh account. I've had it for a while, but I haven't used it all that much. There's a few 100,000 credits on there now, but still a long way from having a significant amount of money. Starting afresh is a great way to re-experience the game, and of course it's an opportunity to see how new players witness this game. So this system is a Celis Primus, one of the beginner systems, and I'm going straight here to a low resource extraction site. Even from a distance here, I noticed that the rings seemed somewhat unusual, and that was confirmed immediately upon dropping in here. There was no rocks, and no rocks meant no miners, and no miners meant no pirates, so there was no combat here to be getting involved with. I spent a few moments here anyway to see if any NPCs did turn up, and indeed in short order a few NPCs did turn up, and they noticed the same thing as me, that there was no resources here to be had, and so they too decided to leave the area. A short distance away then, in the neighbouring system Weird, is another bunch of resource extraction sites. Now in the Sidewinder here I decided to go just for low resource extraction sites. Didn't want to yet risk going to the regular ones or to high resource extraction sites because really I didn't expect to survive very long in those. But of course en route I got interdicted. Interdictions, as many people have pointed out, can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. But usually I tend not to have too much of a problem. This one did outpace me, so I simply decided to submit, albeit a little bit too late. So the interdiction was successful anyway, just whacking me around in a bit of a spin there. And, well, not knowing who was going to attack me, I decided nonetheless I was going to turn and face my enemy. Very quickly, my shields went down. My mistake here, I had 0 pips in systems. No pips in shields means there's very little energy in there, so they collapse very quickly. But nonetheless, I was committed to this attack. Now, since the latest update, it seems that energy management is much more important than it ever used to be. Before, you could just put your pips in an optimal position and more or less leave them there, except for extreme circumstances where you'd need to change them. But now, things seem to be a little bit more different, and you need to change the energy on the fly quite a lot during your combat. Now, ace pilots would have always been doing that anyway, but it wasn't always essential, especially against lower spec targets, but like I say, that doesn't seem to be the case now. Anyway, this attack didn't seem to be going too bad. Aside from the initial volley of attacks, he was struggling to destroy me here. A little bit of chaff here and there, and some nice evasive manoeuvres there. The NPC probably could have finished me off there had he decided to ram me, but it seems that generally speaking they tend to avoid doing that now. I've only got basic gimbaled pulse lasers on this ship. It's always a toss-up for me between burst lasers and pulse lasers, although I know for some people they like to use multi-cannons on these Sidewinders. And here at the last minute the system security come in and decided to take the last bit of the ASP's hull right down. Although I think had I had a few more moments here, I would have managed to do that myself anyway. With that out of the way then, and a good chunk of money in my pocket, it was time to head on to the low resource extraction site. Now, you may have noticed early on in the video that the graphics look pretty darn good, and that's because once again I'm using a graphics mod in combination with all the new graphical updates that have been included with patch 1.6 and 2.1. It seems to me that the asteroid systems here are now looking the best they've ever looked. Absolutely stunning locations to fly around in and fight within. There's also a good number of variations of this particular mist and colour that you get, and again it looks quite different if you were to go to an ice field, for example. Now, I've seen a lot of people actually say that combat is now ruined in the game due to the difficulty of the AI, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to come out here and have a look. I wanted to check that out to see if for me it was actually the case, because as you probably know, generally speaking, I'm pretty bad when it comes to combat. But here in a lowly Sidewinder, in a low resource extraction site, I seem to be having no problem at all. And whilst obviously I'm getting a lot of help here, that wasn't the case for every single fight within this extraction site. A few times I took on an asp, and even one time took on a python on my own in the Sidewinder here and come away without so much as a scratch. But that's not to say that the AI isn't difficult in some places. I'm sure if I went to a regular extraction site or a high extraction site, the story would be very different indeed. At any rate, while I was here, I collected up plenty of materials, especially the ones that I found quite difficult to find previously. You may have noticed yesterday that Frontier posted an announcement to their forums saying they've made a change to the game, and that now when you're at the engineer's base, if you look at the news section over on the right hand side of the station menu, there'll be a little list there telling you exactly what planet to go to collect specific types of materials. A change that's been welcomed by quite a lot of players, but for me personally it's a change that very much is just a quick fix and really doesn't fix the fundamental issues with the game. But that's something I'll talk about in a future video. For now, it was time to head back to a station and hand in these vouchers before I ended up losing them by getting myself killed. And this turned out to be a really pleasant surprise to me, because I had forgot that the station here in Weird is one of the luxurious type, and I hadn't seen one of these since the new graphical upgrades. All the station interiors have been changed. I think they look a lot better now. Like I say, this was the first time I'd seen one of these since the changes, and it's also bolstered and enhanced by the fact I've got a graphical mod running. I'm using EDFX. I'll put a link in the video description showing you where you can find that and how to use it. But that's really only a minor part of the overall visual appearance here, because you can see that there's a whole lot of new shaders and other effects being put in place here, and to be honest, I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. So back here at the station then, I had around about 150,000 credits worth of bounty vouchers. I was only there in the extraction site for probably around about half hour of play, so not too bad going for this in a Sidewinder. It's actually possible to get out of the Sidewinder very quickly, but it's a ship I like to fly, so like I've said in the previous video, I wanted to stay in it as long as possible. The next ship I want to get is the Cobra, but before I did that, I just wanted to check out if there are any other upgrades I could fit here. Unfortunately, there was nothing I actually wanted, but it gave me a good opportunity to have a nice close look at the hangar here. Like with the surface area of this station, it looks lovely, and perhaps it's a little bit of a shame that these aren't used a little bit more elsewhere in the galaxy. At any rate, before much longer, I was once again back out in the extraction zone collecting some more bounties. Ended up with over 250,000 on this occasion, so probably in the next video I'm going to be heading out to finally get myself the Cobra. Where we'll go from there is anyone's guess, but it won't be too long before we actually find out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. I'm out here with my commander, Cobra Commander, and I'm trying to build up my reputation on the mission boards here. Now for those of you that don't know, this is essentially a new account. I've only got about 200,000 credits on it, I don't play it that often, and I'm still stuck in a Sidewinder.